If you are a lettings neg or lettings manager, then listen up in the next 4 or 5 minutes, because we will be able to help you be a better letting agent, a happier letting agent. And today I'm joined by Chris Thornton, who is a lettings manager from Selby. And he's going to tell a little bit about the way he reached out to the Agents Together Charitable Foundation and how he's in a much better place in his head and also at work because of the help of the Agents Together Charitable Foundation. Chris, thanks for joining me today.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for the invite. Appreciate it.
No worries, Chris. Now, Chris, how long have you been in the lettings industry?
I have been in the lettings industry in one guise or another as either property manager or lettings manager, or running my own company, or being poached by other people, and generally being a lettings gopher for about 9 years now.
Okay. And what do you love about being a letting agent?
Oh, variety. Absolutely. No day is the same. Definitely not. Thankfully, definitely not. Having done factory work, yeah.
Good stuff. Now, you say you've been in the business nearly 10 years. What don't you like about being a letting agent?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I don't particularly enjoy. I'm trying to think of something I don't enjoy. Actually, I do enjoy most of it. I think possibly I'll reframe that into things that I don't enjoy as much as other things. What I don't enjoy is perhaps the timings. I think sometimes really can provide quite a lot of stress. It's not the work itself, because a lot of it's straightforward and a lot of it's prescribed, but the timings of it can really push a person, definitely.
Okay, so when did Agents Together come onto your radar the very first time?
I think we're looking at around, it was 2020, so we're looking at it was about June of 2020.
June 2020. So you
Yeah.
and what was your initial impressions? Did you see someone else being interviewed? Did you see how did it get onto your radar?
It got onto my radar, and I'll be personal here because it's quite a personal connection. Is that at that time I was suffering from depression. The working at home was no problem. I've actually been doing that for a long time now. But as other agents, I'm sure, will recognise, the period following the end of the first lockdown was particularly busy. And I'm again, from a personal perspective, up until that point, I was drinking heavily, to the point where I was in effect an alcoholic. And there were a couple of other things that were, related to relationships at the time that all kind of created a bit of a perfect storm. So I found myself really quite depressed, and came across Agents Together. I think through one of the posts in a couple of the agents groups. I think it might even been through you actually, Chris, if I remember, maybe. And I clung on to that like a drowning man, to be honest. I felt that it was great that there was a conversation going on there. There was people acknowledging something what was happening, not only to me, but I've been saying personally for years that agents really, can be on the thick end of the wedge a lot of the time, particularly if you're out there amongst people. It's a very emotive subject: houses, property, money, and you will come across those who don't like you, quite frankly, no matter what you do. So yeah, there you go.
So you went to the website, you put your application in, you spoke with Sam, who is the Cilla Black of a state agency. He matches you up with people. And who did he match you up with?
Richard, and Sam was very good with it. He's quite straight. The whole process is quite straightforward. He had a quick chat with me to find out kind of a little bit more about me, and this the position I was in, because of course that's really important, and had a look through those who were offering their mentoring skills, and Richard, he thought Richard would probably be a good choice. I have to say he was right. So that was kind of how we got started.
Okay, so you matched up with Richard, and you've been communicating once every couple of weeks, once a month?
It was around once a month initially. The mentoring, there was a mentoring period there that was, I think, if memory serves, it was for a prescribed period, or
Yeah,
there was just kind of that.
normally about 6 months. But then
Yeah,
have you then carried on?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Richard's a lovely guy, and has been more helpful than I could have possibly imagined, and and asked nothing for it in return.
So
Other
what
than,
exactly has Richard done for you?
okay, so what Richard did was what all good kind of mentors do, which is they generally speaking do a peer led subject thing. So we gave, we discussed primarily when we first talked about what it was I was looking to get out of it. It gave me a bit of a chance to think about what my requirements might be. I came back to him with some things I was interested in, stuff that I wouldn't perhaps have normally come across within my normal working life, things that interest me, that I had nobody really to talk about. And then we arranged the sessions going forward.
And now we're a year on. I said six
Yep.
months officially with Agents Together, but again,
Yep.
a lot of people do carry on afterwards.
Sure. Yeah.
What difference has Richard's tutelage and guidance and support done for you as a person, Chris?
It's helped me to break out of the kind of rut I was in. Well, when we're at work, when we're doing our meet and drink things, we do tend to be a bit tramlined, don't we? Because we know what's going to happen every day. So what Richard helped do was to kind of just help me to think a little bit further on, out to interests that are outside of that particular little rut.
And are you happier?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
And
absolutely. I would strongly recommend Agents Together to anybody. You don't have to be in the position that I was in, which was quite desperate, to be perfectly honest. I do think that everybody could benefit from having somebody that they can talk to in a confidential manner, perhaps, about things related to the agency that perhaps they always wanted to know.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Everyone's got their bosses, and there's certain things that bosses can do, but there's certain things a boss can't necessarily do. And a lot of people say having someone totally in your corner, guiding and supporting you, almost being an Obi-Wan Kenobi to you being Luke Skywalker. So you're happier, you're more content, you love the job more. Have your bosses noticed the difference of you?
I don't know. I've not asked her actually. I hope so. She did know I have it. She did know I have a mentor, but it's not something that we've discussed.
Okay. What's your final piece of advice for any lettings neg or lettings manager watching this about? I mean, surely there's a cost or a catch to this, isn't there?
No, not at all. I was initially concerned that the Agents Together might be leading on to something that might then cost me, because there's a lot of hooks out there, and there's a lot of kind of purses to be filled at the end of that, and that's something that tends to be kind of fairly well known within estate agency and development, that it costs you money. Everything costs you money. But Agents Together did not cost me a penny, and that was very clear from the outset. It was about personal development from somebody who knew more than I did within the industry. And actually, I found what Richard does is, he's not an agent like I am. He works in a different part of the sector, which was wonderful, really, because then you get to talk to people who aren't trying to sell you something.
Well, I can absolutely guarantee you nobody is allowed to sell anything. There's no catch, there's no commitment. If you are a letting or an estate agent, a neg, a branch manager, a valuer, run your own business, self-employed, employed, online, high street, doesn't matter. If you want help and guidance, we have over 200 of the best of UK estate letting agency, plus a few suppliers who want to guide and support you and make a better human being. Chris, you've been absolutely fantastic today. Thank you for your time today. And if you want any more information, there's a link above or below. Thanks very much.